everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. And yes, we are back on the TTS. So in the last episode we got the engine started. Today we're going to be putting the rad pack in, slam panels, and also get the all the drive shafts back in. And then we are literally probably just an episode away from getting that car on its first drive. So a lot to do, but before we do that, we're just going to have a quick word from our sponsor this week, which is Readly. Okay, so let me introduce you to a little secret that I have, and that is where I get the inspiration from some of my projects. So a lot of the projects that I do, the VW and the Audi based projects, I get from the inspiration of looking at magazines. But of course, going to the shop and scouring the shelves for magazines is a real pain, and that's why I have a Readly subscription. Now, if you don't know what Readly is, it's a digital online magazine that you can get on your tablet or your mobile phone, and once you get the app and you pay for the subscription, you get access to thousands of different articles and different magazines covering a variety of subjects. Now for me, I like cars, as you all know, that's why you're here, and on that I have VW Performance and other related magazines that I look at, including some of the popular ones as well, like Auto Express, etc. And the beauty of the Readly subscription is not only do you get the current versions, but you also get the back catalogue as well, so you can go back a number of years in some instances and be able to look at articles that you may have missed or that other magazines might refer to. So not only do I use Readly to take a look at what's happening on the car scene, I also use it for my line of work. Now, as most of you might know, I work in the IT industry, so Readly covers me on that aspect because it has so many different IT related magazines that I can keep abreast of technology and see what's going on in the tech world. So the app is very versatile, allowing you to have multiple profiles, and that way keeping your information where you want it and your partner's information where they want it. A couple of key benefits you can get with the Readly app: you can bookmark pages. So if you're looking for a certain page, you can bookmark it and find it a lot easier. Also, you can download the magazine to your app, and then you can view it offline. So if you've got a long flight, like I have in the next couple of days, a 10-hour flight, I can download my favorite magazines and read them offline without having to connect to Wi-Fi. Okay, let's just sum that up, shall we? So that's 6,000 UK and international magazines and newspapers, and that's over 447,000 back issues of those newspapers and magazines, and covering over 35 different categories. Amazing, and all for $9.99 a month. And not only that, click on the link below, you're going to get 2 months for free. So you get 2 months to browse all of those articles, and they really enjoy your Readly subscription. Okay, thank you Readly for sponsoring this week's episode. Now let's get back to the car. Okay, so just to remind ourselves where we are. So last week, or the last episode we got the car started, which was great. We've got all of our water pipes, etc., all connected up. We now need to add the rad pack, and we also need to connect up the drive shafts on the vehicle. And then obviously we need to put in things like the MAF sensor, etc., so that we can then start clearing the coals in the car, putting the coolant in the car, and then getting that car ready for its first drive. So first of all, let's get underneath the car and sort out the drive shafts. Okay, so the drive shaft on this car is pretty straightforward. Basically, it's 8 bolts. There's no spline. They literally just bolt into place down the back there. Hopefully you can see that. So it's just a case of doing that, and then we're here to go. We've got some new bolts to fit, because you shouldn't use the old bolts, because like I said, these are stretch bolts, one-use bolts. So we'll get these all sorted, and we will then get them in place. I'll show you one side. You don't need to see the other side. It's a case of rinse, wash and repeat. So let's do that. Okay, so the dry shaft's in. Now we just need to put the connect the wishbone back up to the hub, and then that's this side taken care of. Okay, so both dry shafts are now done and in place. Not too bad. That one over there was a little bit more challenging, but you would expect that. But he's in, all tightened up and all torqued up as well. Now, it gets a little easier because we're going to be dealing with the front end, or have I just done myself a wrong one by saying it's going to get easier? So we'll get the front end on, we'll clip up the water pipe, so we've got our inlet, our outlet pipe that sits here, our charge pipe that should just plug in, and then our other end of our charge pipe that will also plug in. Once we get the front end in, we'll then clip in the actual radiator. In fact, we'll clip the radiator in first because that will be a challenge, I think, as it was to get out, to get back in. So what we'll do is we'll clip this to the front end, then we'll put the whole assembly in together, and then that big old plug that plugs into this here. So let's get that one plugged in and let's get this front end on. And once we get the front end on, then we can well, we'll do the fluids next week for the front, but we'll certainly get it all plugged in and all sorted out. Good. Anyway, enough waffle, let's get it done. Do you know, I really should have taken more interest when I took these cables apart. It's because I didn't really plan to take this car apart, but you know, here we are. Right, so radiator cooling fan is in. Now notice here we've got a connection here. We've got our AC pipes here, so we know what that is. So this here connects to this pipe here. We've got a screw in place for that. Then we've got this pipe here. He goes into here, and again we got this screw in place for that. This connector that goes into here, like so. Then we got these connectors here. Now this one, I believe, goes into the bonnet catch release. This one, yet to figure where this one goes, but we'll figure it out. That one is the outside temperature sensor. You can see that little probe sticking at the end there. So he goes somewhere around. We'll find a place for him when we get the manual. But we got this guy here that we're not quite sure where he goes. But it will become apparent when we start to plug stuff up. So the next shot we're going to do is to get this rad pack in place, and then that will complete the front end. So we got the front slam panel and rad pack in place, which is good. Everything's gone in as expected, so no issues there at all. Now, remaining wiring. So we know what this wire is. This is the front fog light, and then over here we have the same again. Okay, so that's front fog light. Then we've got this here, which yellow plug means it's something to do with the safety system, and that is the bonnet connector. Have a look at that plug there, and there is our little connector there, so we know what that is. My mystery is this cable here, these bunch of cables here. So this one here, we know what that is. That's the that's basically the external air temperature sensor. But these two plugs here are a little bit of a mystery. By the time the next episode comes out, I will figure out what these are, and I know that they travel maybe around the front here somewhere. Now you would think, are they the front parking sensors? Well, this car doesn't have front parking sensors, so that's not it. And if it isn't, normally the wiring loom for this, they delete it if you don't have it. So the mystery remains. By the next episode I will figure out what it is, but see if you can figure out what it is before then, okay? So if you think you know what these two cables are, put it in the comments below, and then next week you'll see if you're right. Up here, everything else is plugged in now. So we've got our top radiator hose all plugged in, the lower airflow to the charge pipe, that's plugged in there. On this side we've got our charge pipe entry before it goes into the intercooler, that's all plugged in. That was a bit of a beast to get in. And then we've got our lower water pipe, all the AC hoses, they're all now in place. You can see that one here, and then that one down there. That was a bit of a nightmare to get in, but we got it in the end. So we just need to then connect up the bonnet catch pull. We got a few bolts to put in here to secure this. We've got a bolt to put into there, that will do. And then the final connector up here that is loose, that goes into the MAF sensor, so we'll do that last. But other than that, everything is okay. We've still got there's a heat shield that we need to put on the back here that will get in place. That's this piece here, so that goes in behind there and bolts in. So we need to put him in place. Actually, I'll leave him up there so I can remember. And then we've got this here, which is the it is the battery tray, but it's not the battery tray. It's for the air filter sits on this. So we'll get that in place. Now, in terms of the air filter, this car never came with an air filter. It obviously had an aftermarket air filter that was taken away from the car, and I'm debating whether I actually put back a standard manufactured air filter or an aftermarket one. Trouble with aftermarket ones, they are really loud and obnoxious, and I want to sell this car and make it appealing to the mass market. So put in a standard air filter, perhaps maybe put in a K&N filter. And I know some people have some issues with K&N filters, but it is what it is. They're better than the standard paper ones that you get from the retailers. Right, okay, so yeah, so essentially in terms of all our cabling, we're in a good place. We now need to just get ourselves over the finishing line, and we will get that done next week. So next week we will get the front end completely attached, the headlights, fill up the car with water, and then just then maybe we might be in a position to get this car ready for its first drive and see how it responds. That will be a momentous moment after this car has been off the road for so long. So we made some progress. I apologize that we haven't been able to do more this week. I've just got back from a trip overseas and I am proper jet lagged, so I'm doing this to get some content out rather than you missing something. So apologies for that, but we're almost there. And I know some of you have found this boring, as have seen in the comments. Trust me, I am bored of this too. No, I'm not bored of it, it's just taking a different turn. Originally we were just going to be turning this car around, but obviously putting a new engine in means we have to do alternative plans. But we're almost there, gents, and then we'll be getting something new in here. Well, we need some servicing to do. We've got some stuff to do on the Tesla as well. Something exciting that's coming up on the Tesla. Hopefully that pays off. So yeah, we do have some more genuine exciting content other than this, but it'll be nice to get this done and dusted, as I'm sure you all appreciate. And for all of those who are supporting this, really do appreciate that. Okay, so let's have a wee bit of a summary. Okay, so front end back on the car. We're almost there, guys, and I know that this has been stretching on for a long time, but we're almost at the finishing line now. So literally probably one, maybe 2 episodes, and then that car is going to be back on the road. I hope to get it back on the road next week, actually, so tune in for that. So in the meantime, if you are just a casual viewer, please consider subscribing. Click on the subscribe button down below. Click on the bell notification so you're notified whenever we release a new video. I guess around about this time we now need to start thinking about the next car. What should the next car be? Let me know in the comments below. Be interesting to see your thoughts. So have a good one. We'll see you in the next episode, and yeah, have a good week.